Well, Rich, you did ask for a highly competitive game, one that we could watch until the final zeros, the final buzzer. We got it.
We got it 2 weeks in a row, man.
But it's frustrating. This one is a little more frustrating than the Houston Rockets one, where they had a chance in both. But for some reason tonight, this one stung a little bit more as the Sixers fall by a final score of 106-102. Welcome to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Rich Hoffman, Devon Givens, JP producing the show here tonight. We'll hear from Kyle and Derek a little bit later following their post-game meeting with the coaches and the players to see what they thought about this one right away. I know Kyle has a story up at allphly.com, so go ahead and read that one. That one is open and it's free to you to see his good, bad, and ugly right away from this particular game. But you can also, if you want to become a diehard member, you now have until midnight. They've extended it, folks, until midnight for you to sign up at the low price of $36 to get the diehard membership, a free t-shirt when you sign up, access to the PHLY Discord, and so much more. Make sure allphly.com, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend to get in there to sign up because we've extended it until midnight. And when you read it, you'll see how frustrating things were tonight. Rich, a fantastic bounce-back performance again. 17 for Jared McCain in the last game, which was Tuesday night, yesterday against the Charlotte Hornets in the win. Tonight, 24 to lead the team in scoring, finding his shooting touch again. 10 of 17 efficiently from the floor, 3 for 6 from beyond. Had a few moments in there where you had questioned his decision-making of what he was trying to do. But overall, as you said during the game, he played really well. You wanted the ball in his hands, but it wasn't enough. Again, as the Sixers lose this close game and a winnable one, once again, Rich, against a very good team in the Orlando Magic.
Devon, there is a lot to talk about from that one. Again, good effort. They got killed on the boards. Nick Nurse tried some stuff. Jared McCain was really good. But I think the way I would frame this A block for us, do we call it the A block?
Call it A block.
We can call it the A block.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes before the ad.
Yes.
Is that the Sixers have a rookie guard in Jared McCain, who has seen the Orlando Magic twice. The Orlando Magic, the second best defense in the league. For most of this game, I know Jonathan Isaac got hurt, a team that, man, you just get a switch and it just feels like Jonathan Isaac or Jalen Suggs is on you at all times. It is not a fun team to try to score against. And Jared McCain looks at them and says, that's fine, I don't care.
That's cool.
I might turn the ball over a couple times. I might make a couple rookie mistakes, but I'm going to give you buckets. Like, I'm going to score on you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be afraid. And yet, he has a fourth-year player. Fifth-year player? Fourth-year player?
In
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey, fifth.
Fifth-year player. Even worse, a fifth year. Sorry, some of these years blend together. Somebody who just got paid a whole bunch of money in the offseason, who is playing with the same teammates as Jared McCain, Devon, who has exceeded expectations for his entire career. This is not good enough from Tyrese Maxey, man. I know he scored a little bit at the end, but he is not playing good enough. And for much of this year, the blame has been on Joel Embiid. Fair. He's been completely unavailable, has given you absolutely nothing. He's hurt, but, again, best ability is availability.
100%.
Paul George, to a lesser extent, I know he had that great game in Charlotte last night. Guy hasn't been available. Guy really hasn't played all that well this year. Tyrese Maxey has been available more than them. You are seeing the limitations of Tyrese Maxey. And I don't know, it just felt like tonight really crystallized it for me, man. It just was a very frustrating effort. And you hear all the time from people when they get frustrated about Joel, just build around Maxey. And no, because the guy as a one-on-one scorer, when he is the man or has a co-star in Jared McCain, you're seeing Jared McCain do the one-on-one scoring 50 times better. He's got feel. He's got mid-range. He's not just driving into the paint. He actually is making his threes right now. I don't know what's going on with Tyrese Maxey's threes, but Tyrese Maxey, when he doesn't play with Joel Embiid, just does not make his threes at the same level. I'm frustrated with him, man. He's supposed to be better than this. I'm not saying that the Sixers should be 500 with the surrounding cast that he has been given, and I'm not excusing the fact that Joel and PG have been out for the entire year. But this is not good enough. I mean, again, it's 2 nights in a row now where it just does not feel like he has a plan in terms of how to score. And really watching a rookie, watching a kid that was drafted with the 16th pick this year, basically have your same job and do it a whole lot better. That's rough stuff from him, man. I think it's hard because I don't like criticizing Tyrese because he's such a good kid and he's been such a good player for these guys and really exceeded expectations. But this is not good enough.
No, it is not, man. And when you look at it, he had 10 points through 3 quarters, struggling from the floor. He finished with 16 overall. He scored 6 in the fourth quarter, and he went 0 for 7 from behind the three-point line. So as you said, we don't know what's going on with the three-point shooting. It's not there right now. And this is a guy, as you pointed out, Rich, that we can look at him with Joel Embiid on the floor, and he is easily 4 3-pointers a night that you feel like he's going to make. It may be 3. He may get up 9 or 10, but it's the overall feel that the defense is scared to death at the fact that this guy has a wide open look at the behind the three-point line and has a very good chance at knocking it down at a clip around 40%, improving from his rookie year all the way to where we are right now, where we've discussed him as one of the best shooters in the NBA and certainly the best on the team from the outside the three-point line. And that is not there right now. He had some really good looks tonight, especially late when they needed one really badly, and he missed it really badly tonight for the 76ers. Now, I know he got fouled on the one where, Anthony Black fouled him on his arm on a three-point attempt, and the officials should have called it. We can talk about that a little bit later. I already know that's in the chat from a lot of people and how they feel about the officiating tonight. Rich, JP, and I, we all agree on some calls. They got that one wrong. But Tyrese Maxey, to have this type of night after having a pretty good night last night against Charlotte, didn't shoot all that great, and Paul George was a star. And Maxey, while he didn't shoot great, he had a pretty good floor game and probably allowed himself to get in too much of a point guard mode against the Hornets that took away from the scoring opportunities, which probably could have closed that game a little bit sooner on Tuesday night against the Hornets. Tonight, they needed that scoring to go along with Jared McCain and the rest of the starters who all scored in double figures, but it's really up to Maxey as a player we look at with a 26-point per game average to finish with 16, struggling. And the defense, it wasn't all that strong, it looked like tonight. Sure, they would face guard him a few times. Jalen Suggs is an all-NBA defender, KCP as well. But if McCain was able to get by those players with some craft and some really good footwork and some creativity around the basket for his scoop shots, you would certainly believe that the same could be done by Tyrese Maxey tonight. So, yes, this has been a tough week for him on Tuesday and Wednesday, back-to-back overall with his shooting from the floor, where his field goal percentage does not look good at all, and certainly from behind the three-point line, it's just simply not there. He has to figure this one out. They have a day off before they take on the Magic on Friday night. But having that help, which we talked about Jared McCain being the one off the floor as a starter, as a reserve, McCain helping out Maxey. It's been the reverse, where Tyrese is now having to help McCain because of how much more comfortable he looks on the floor in the flow of the offense next to his rookie point guard.
It's fun. He's shooting 41% from the field. I'm like stunned at the people in the chat that are defending this right now. I get it. He's on the court. That's better than Joel. That's better than PG. This isn't good enough, man. I don't even know. I mean, Jared McCain is shooting 59% around the rim. Tyrese Maxey is shooting 52% around the rim.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if he put on too much weight. Like, he obviously is super yoked. I don't know if the three-point shot, he's not trusting it, so he's not getting to the rim. But, guys, he's not playing good enough. Like, I don't think this is an unfair thing to say about Tyrese Maxey.
No, it's not. No, we're evaluating his play as of late, and it has not been good enough. That's all. And there have been plenty of people who have talked about, as you said, can he be the lead guy on the team? Well, we saw last year where that was a struggle with Embiid out. What was it, 30 games when he injured his knee and Tyrese was leading the charge and they had that below 500 record. And we knew it wasn't all his fault. He didn't have the help like Paul George this year, who was not playing tonight. He was there on the floor last night, but he did not play tonight, where Maxey did have that support. He did that help. And even with the starters being as rough in terms of their shooting overall as they were, they did enough in tonight's game where it felt like had he done his part and the team in general, they went 11 of 19, I believe it was, from the free throw line, made their free throws, they steal this game. And that's a 3-game winning streak for this basketball team and another opportunity for them to build off of something. Now, there were some good things. As we talked about with McCain, you see Yabusele, we'll talk about him a little bit. Ricky Council came in, gave some good minutes. But Tyrese Maxey's shooting was poor. It was poor tonight. It was poor last night. He had a better floor game last night, but it was poor tonight. So it is absolutely fair. Everybody's fair game when it comes to a loss or a poor performance. As much as we all love Tyrese Maxey, I mean, come on, guys. If he didn't play well, he didn't play well.
He didn't play well.
That's okay. You know what? He can bounce back against this Magic team on Friday and light them up and say, you know what?
Al,
he figured it out.
Maxey is human like everybody else. We don't get to say he's human, okay? Like, if he's playing poorly, he's playing poorly.
That's it.
What is up with I get it. This fan base loves Tyrese Maxey. I love Tyrese Maxey. I'm not saying, like, trade him or anything like that.
No.
But who cares if he's human? He needs to make shots and start getting efficient offense. And it's frustrating when Jared McCain is being asked to do the exact same things, and he's not like living up to Jared McCain right in these games. It's guys, it's frustrating. I'm sorry.
No, it is. It is. And come on. He's allowed to be you can criticize Tyrese Maxey for having a bad night. It is okay. The same way we can with Joel Embiid, same thing with Paul George and Tyrese Maxey as well. He does not have a bubble around him where he cannot be criticized for having a bad game. We all love Tyrese. You mentioned it right away. You love the kid.
Love him.
Love the guy. We all love the guy. He had a bad night.
He's been bad. And he's had a bad start to the year, too.
Yes.
Even with the context. Like, he has continually gotten better for all 4 years in his career. And this is the first time I can say, to start a year, he has taken a step back. I expect more from him.
Absolutely. 100%. This is an all-star player that we expect to be an all-star year after year after year going forward. And tonight, and over the last few games in particular, he is not playing like the all-star Tyrese Maxey that we expect. This is like when I used to have these conversations before, Rich, of when we're talking about Joel Embiid and Nikola Jokic winning the MVP, right? Or fighting for the MVP. You pick up your guy and you shoot down the other guy who is also an all-NBA MVP caliber player. You point out the warts. That's an MVP, a 3-time MVP that you pick out warts and you say he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. You can do the same thing with your own player, just like we did with Ben Simmons, just like we do with Joel Embiid, the same thing that we're doing with Paul George early on in his Sixers career, where if he has a bad night, he has a bad night. If he has a bad week, he has a bad week. Tyrese Maxey is a tremendous basketball player who will figure it out. It goes along with, and it stands out, it's highlighted more because they're also a now 5-15 basketball team that is 10 games under 500. And if he had a much better night tonight, they pick up another win with a 3-game winning streak at home against one of the best teams in the NBA.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all.
That's all. And that's okay. That's all right. Just like you can say, you know what, Devon and Rich, you had a bad show last night. All right, cool. We'll be better tomorrow. Cool. Thank you. We appreciate it.
And by the way, I misspoke when I said, who cares if he's human? I just think
he doesn't
saying that he's a nice guy and that he's human and that he's fallible. Of course that is true. But we evaluate the max player and how he's performing on the court. Like all of these guys are human. I feel like I don't know, whatever.
And here's one more thing about the Tyrese Maxey, because I'll stay on it. I'll say this. We've all talked about him. We can get on the officials, but we all have talked about he needs to play through the whistle and not complain as much. That takes him out of the play. It keeps him on the floor. He's lagging behind on some plays because he's trying to, understandably so. He's an all-star. He should get all-star calls, and we all agree. But unless that whistle is going to be blown for you and it's going to be called, you got to get back. And we've seen it a few times where, yes, he's gotten hit, but you have to play through the whistle and make sure that you're back on the defensive end to help out. Get a steal. Get in the open floor. Have an opportunity there. And then, all of that stuff will play into your favor by getting that call from the official. He has to do that too, because we saw it a few times tonight where he has to adjust, to slow down, pick up the pace, slow down, hit their mid-range shots, or maybe not get into the traffic like we saw a few times and try to make a weird pass that we didn't understand what he was trying to do by forcing a play into Yabusele when he probably had a push shot. And the reason why he probably did it, as I highlight that particular play, is because he's in his own head about his shooting percentage not being good. If you think we are talking about it, you don't think he knows about it? he's harder on himself than we are. We know his people, and that's how he is. It's okay, folks. It's all right. He had a bad night. He's had a bad start to the season, and he's still so good that he's averaging 26 points for a basketball team that needs all of it. Tonight, they probably needed 20 from him to get the victory, and that's all you're asking, to be a little bit better.
And we've seen it in the past. Like, he's been good shorthanded during those Doc Rivers years. Like, it was him and Seth Curry winning games. It was him and Harden winning games. But you are seeing some of the limitations of him as an on-ball creator, and that's I'm sorry. I'm going to keep with that. Okay, let's stop with Tyrese because whatever. Let's get to Jared McCain, who, again, I continue to be unbelievably impressed with, man. You said it in the middle of the game. Like, he's seeing Jalen Suggs, and he just doesn't care. He's like, all right, I'm gonna body you. I'm gonna get into my mid-range and score on you. He's seeing KCP, and he's like, all right, I guess I'm gonna have to find a way to score on you. He's seeing Jonathan Isaac out there. Again, just another great game. I know he took a little bit of a step back kind of about 5-6 days ago, had a rough couple of shooting games. What a nice bounce back from him these last few games. Yeah,
really good bounce back with the 17 last night, the 25 tonight that he had, 24 tonight to lead the Sixers in scoring, 24 tonight. Again, 10 of 17, 3 for 6 from beyond the three-point line, showing that poise again, not worried about too much of anything going around him, just being himself, playing under control, being exactly who he is as a player, and trusting in the work that he has to do, whether it's the footwork, again, around the basket, somewhere in that mid-range to have to fade away and size things up against those defenders, those old man scoop shots that he has to get underneath the long arms of Batadze or even someone like Jonathan Isaac, who was really active there on the low block. He was tremendous. And his outside shooting, I thought it was one he passed up where he gave it to someone else, and I thought he should have shot the basketball. But overall, he had a really good game tonight. And it's really good to see him finding ways to get out of a little bit of a shooting slump that he was in to come back and give these type of performances that he had on Tuesday night and now tonight on Wednesday. Last night we were talking about him not getting those fourth quarter minutes. Well, he got a ton of minutes tonight because he and Maxey led the team on the floor in terms of minutes played with 38 plus. Tyrese Maxey, 38-29, 38-41 for Jared McCain. Both of them out there on the floor. You had to have them both out there on the floor, which is why we were talking about it last night of why Jared McCain was not on the floor in the fourth quarter more than the 3 minutes and 27 seconds that he was out there. So tremendous performance in these two games for him to bounce back. Once again, we believe he should be in the starting lineup. We'll see how that all plays out when Paul George gets back and Nurse has to decide on which way to go, which direction he wants to go in terms of who he wants to have in that backcourt with Tyrese Maxey. But really good performance. And even in all that time, both of those players had 4 turnovers, some of them frustrating, of course, because the runs were being made. They were getting themselves back in the game to steal this win. Or even when they went up, I believe they went up 4, and then you saw 2 turnovers by both of them. Both of them in the backcourt, Maxey and McCain, where the Magic come back on the other end, they score the basketball, and they get right back into it, where you felt like they had a chance to really push that lead, maybe 6, maybe 7 points with a big shot, force Jamal Mosley to call the timeout. Unfortunately, that did not happen. So wasn't too worried about their 4 turnovers apiece from them because, look, when you're out there that long, 38 minutes apiece, you are the 2 shot creators. You are going to have the basketball in your hands. So sometimes you're going to have to cough it up. And they did. But fortunately for Jared McCain, he was really good tonight again. So good to see that he has gotten back into that groove.
Blown away by him. And just, you know, they run that sideline out of bounds play at the end of the quarter where he gets the 3. They run that pick and roll play where they do the weave. Have you seen that? They run that a lot with Maxey and PG a lot, where they do the weave at the beginning, and then they have a step up ball screen for either Maxey or McCain. He did a lot of damage on that tonight. Man, he's just got a lot of craft, man. His mid-range game, I'm looking, he is shooting his true shooting percentage 59% on the year. I'm blown away. And I think some of that is that he gets into the mid-range. And even though he's shorter than a lot of the players that are guarding him, he's strong enough to ward them off with his body and get the shot up. I mean, there was a couple plays tonight. I mean, we were oohing and ahhing at the one on the runner where we thought he got hit. He definitely thought he got hit, had to throw it up, but still had the concentration to bank it in off the glass. He has a lot of those, and he had a lot of them last night against Charlotte. And I think, one of the big hits, like one of the big reasons that this pick has become such a hit is that at Duke, there were a lot of questions about his finishing around the rim, his ability to get to the basket. Some players, when they have NBA spacing, and the Sixers don't have ideal NBA spacing, but they got guys who stand around the three-point line, and defenses generally treat them like NBA players. When he has that extra space, he has so much more craft than he was able to show at Duke as a finisher. And I mean, it's been awesome. Again, like, it's really rare for somebody to have the challenge of the Orlando Magic twice. He gets them twice early in his season.
Yeah.
And he lit them up twice. Again, a couple turnovers for sure. But for that guy to be so under control and just get his points, get his threes, I'm really impressed by him.
Yeah, he's not afraid. All right, we're not afraid because we love all of you. Nice discussion. Nice discussion back and forth with everybody, with Rich and I and all of you after the Sixers fall by 4, 106-102 to the Orlando Magic. They're now 5-15 on the season. They take on and host the Magic on Friday as part of this 2-game home series against this Orlando team. When we come back, we'll talk more about this game. How did we end up here with a 4-point loss for the Sixers? Some positives, of course, that we did see. But ultimately a loss. We'll tell you about the player of the game. Join the guys from the arena right here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365.
And Devon, I am going to tell you about our friends at Rite Aid. You can get your pneumonia shot this fall, this winter at Rite Aid. You should help protect yourself from pneumonia. Devon, adults aged 50 and older are now eligible for the vaccine. It was previously ages 65 and up. The CDC has recently lowered the age recommendation to 50 and over. Millions of people get pneumonia every year. According to the CDC, it is a respiratory illness, and fall and winter are a time when germs that cause respiratory disease typically spread more in the community. So now is the time to get vaccinated and help yourself stay healthy. So just go to your neighborhood Rite Aid pharmacy, and they'll have you taken care of for it. Some people who get pneumonia have mild symptoms, but others experience serious complications. The vaccine is one of the best ways to keep yourself healthy. It's usually no cost with insurance. Getting vaccinated is easy. Just walk into your local Rite Aid or schedule online at riteaid.com. Unsure of what vaccines you may need? Just ask your pharmacist for a personal recommendation. Stop by your local Rite Aid today.
And as you do that, it's a little cold outside, so you might have to have a hat on if you're worried about your hair and you're worried about maybe getting it fixed. You go with our good people from Glatt Hair Restoration, and that's by Morgenstern Medical. And if you like bald is in. We know that. But if you're looking to and you see that you're losing your hair a little bit and you want to get that fixed and you're going to hide your hair a little bit wearing your hats because it's cold outside and you want to show everybody your new look for the spring and the summer, this is the place for you to go. It's the same peerless approach as Dr. Glatt and Morgenstern have merged. They share a remarkable bond for many years together as colleagues and friends, and from collaborating on critical research studies to working together in the operating room. Right now, it's in the good hands of Morgenstern Medical and the same peerless approach to care. Expert team, unmatched Glatt system, state-of-the-art location, and the same stellar results overall. Under the direction of Dr. Morgenstern, a highly respected plastic surgeon, each member of this exceptionally trained team brings 30-plus years of industry experience. Hair restoration is all that they do. Here's what you get with the leading-edge treatments for prevention and restoration, including laser light therapy, non-invasive TED treatments, vitamin supplementation, PRP, and stem cell restoration, and of course, the hair restoration surgery. Each patient receives a complimentary one-on-one consultation to pinpoint the best course of treatment for you. And Glatt Hair isn't just about restoration, it's about innovation. Their breakthrough treatments really do dramatically change lives. Change your hair, change your life. Bald is now optional, as I mentioned right from the start. But if you want to improve your look and how you feel about yourself, Glatt Hair is the right treatment for you. Regain your confidence. Visit GlattHairMCTR.com or call 610-980-4000 to get started. Welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. We had a pretty good night tonight with our pregame picks.
Yeah, we hit on them.
Hit on all three. We hope you tailed everybody.
Yeah, you
hope you tailed.
You don't usually tell me because I get them wrong. But tonight, Jared McCain's three-point shooting got it. And what were yours again?
Mine was Yabusele, points, rebounds, and assists over 20.5. He finished with overall 15 points, 7 boards, 4 assists. So we cleared that, man. We were all good there. And then we also had Jalen Suggs, 2.5 steals and or blocks together. And he had 3 steals, no blocks, 3 steals though. So I hope you tailed us because we got it right. Gambling Givens.
He's on fire.
It's 2 in a row, man. It's 2 in a row.
He's on fire.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
JP saying cha-ching in the background.
All right. Well, the Sixers fell tonight, 106-102. Rich, and the other tough part, I mentioned the free throws, 11 of 19 from the free throw line, man. Again, you knock down your free throws, and you probably have them playing a different game on the other side for this one. They were 16 for 21, so they missed their 5, but you missed 8 free throws overall, and those were from – you had 1 from Oubre, 1 from Yabusele, 2 from McCain, who has been pretty good at the start of his career from knocking down these free throws.
Yeah, it was odd to see him miss.
Yeah,
2 or
Caleb
3.
Martin missed 2 where he didn't look really comfortable at the free throw line. He had that hitch in there that we've been all talking about the start of his Sixers career in general. And then, you had 2 misses from Ricky Council, but he was 4 for 6. And you can't really, somebody like Ricky Council and even Yabusele, you take what you take, but it all comes together when you miss 8 free throws and you lose by 4 points. You can't help but talk about those and point those out in such a close loss.
Yeah, no, those hurt. Those hurt from sure. I don't really know what else to say except you got to make them. Feels like Yabu he's outpacing his free throw shooting with his 3-point shooting.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he's just one of those guys. There are players that are like that. I mean, I would rather him make his threes. That they're more. But it's frustrating. It's frustrating when he's missing his free throws. Caleb Martin, you mentioned, man, it's just painful to watch him shoot a basketball right now. And again,
I give him credit for shooting.
I think the shoulder is really bothering him.
We saw his brother again. They had the same shot. The 2 guys, the twins, they had the same shot, same exact shot. And you could clearly see the difference in where things are right now with his shooting. So he mentioned earlier that he was dealing with something that he did not want to share. He kind of mentioned something with the shoulder, but he didn't really get into detail about it. And you respect that because you also appreciate a guy that's going to go out there and not make excuses. He's going to go out there and he continues to get it work. And even when he's not able to knock down the shot from outside, I mean, Rich, he was getting to that mid-range, and you know what? He was knocking that down. It's almost like when you see when Markelle Fultz still didn't get it fixed.
It's bad when
but he wasn't afraid of taking that mid-range when it looked normal, right? The mid-range shot looked normal compared to what the 3-point shot looked like. You know what? It's not that bad. It's just of what his mindset is, and he's trying to do everything he can to help the team. Unfortunately, that 3-point shot and then those 2 free throws, they did look really bad.
They're ugly. Obviously, a step back 3-2. He just doesn't have the strength to even get that thing to the rim.
Yeah,
right
something's
now,
wrong
man.
with that shoulder.
It's like you said. Yeah, he did get into the mid range and he made a couple of those shots. Devon, those are closer shots. He can elevate more on those. He doesn't really need his arm as much. Yeah, it's a little bit tough to watch. I do give him credit for playing out there, but yeah, he's unfortunately when you're making the Markelle Fultz comparison, Caleb Martin is the most recent guy who has come to Philadelphia, and I know he wasn't a great shooter in Miami, but this is a little hard to watch. And I think, look, you're right. It's because of the strength in his shoulder.
Yeah, it's the strength. It's not because of he lost it, whatever happened. We still don't know what happened with Markelle Fultz. It seems to believe that it's the shoulder because, as Jeannie says, he keeps rubbing it, right? Yeah. He's
letting you know.
Many KT taped up shoulders so far this season where it's really affecting his outside shooting for what we saw, what we know we saw in Miami, where he was that type of guy to get that shot off. But right now, unfortunately, it's not there.
So that was part of the game. Another part of the game is that the Sixers got smoked on the boards. And is that all that surprising? No. Orlando was playing a couple of bigs. Sixers were small, right? They start the 2 guards. And Yabu is just...
And you're talking more on the offensive glass or just rebounds in general?
No, they rebounded well on the offensive glass. I mean, that's the thing with the Sixers. It seems like when they go small, they end up rebounding pretty well. It's like the Knicks series last year where they really put up some good offensive rebounding numbers. It's just tough to watch the defensive rebounding. Orlando, they rebounded 42% of their misses. So basically 1 out of every 2 miss, they were getting another one. It's hard to live that way. And, there were these possessions where Isaac and Wendell Carter and Mo Wagner, they got all over the glass, and we were watching it, and it's frustrating. I can't really say I blame anybody. It's tough. Yabu at the 5 is a little bit of a struggle rebounding. He did fight for a couple late ones. McCain fought for a couple late ones. But overall, they are very undersized. And, there were a couple possessions there. Nick Nurse, actually, he brought out the box and one from the,
yes, he did.
from the 2019 finals. I think it was 4 or 5 straight possessions where Franz Wagner, he had it going, and he had it going. He was finding matchups, getting into the mid-range, just another super physical player against the Sixers. They put KJ Martin on him as the one and told KJ just deny him the ball, and KJ did a pretty good job. But they struggled to rebound out of that box and one, which again is not surprising. It's hard to rebound out of any sort of zone, and then when you have one player who's really just denying another player on offense, then it gets even harder. Look, they struggled to rebound the ball, and that's part of the reason they lost tonight. Some of it is transition, right? They gave up a few too many easy ones. It just felt like whether it was a pick 6 or somebody missed a layup and they went the other way, there were just a couple too many of those early on. But that's what Orlando does, and that is the athleticism deficit that the Sixers are giving up. Yes. I think for the most part, I felt okay with the effort. They bounced back, and I'll credit somebody else for bouncing back too, because I know everybody was mad at me. Tyrese Maxey really struggled for most of this game. I'm not taking back any of my comments because I think he needs to be better in the first 3.5 quarters. Made some really good moves down the stretch, right? Got to the free throw line on one of those.
Got fouled on that last attempt.
Found a way
should have gotten
to attack, especially when they put in, what's his name, Batadze. Did a good job of getting the switch on him and attacking. Now let's talk about that last play, because the officiating down the stretch, I don't want to be a refs guy, man. It looks like Anthony Black, he's trying to foul him. Now, I did not see exactly. It looked like he kind of made contact with his wrist, right?
He did.
Or somewhere,
or forearm
somewhere
below.
Somewhere below it. I mean, to me, I know that was an awkward shot, and there were some people on Twitter who were a little frustrated with Maxey about that. I was not frustrated with Maxey about that. I think once you get hit on the wrist there, it doesn't really matter if the shot is goofy. You just got to get it up. And in the NBA, we've seen that a lot where...
And he did get the shot up.
I thought he did. Yeah, he got it up pretty quickly. And you see in the NBA that that's the downside, because everybody says you foul up 3, and that sounds great. But NBA players are so good at getting that shot up, and then it's a disaster. Then you're giving up 3 free throws. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, I would have rather given up a contested 3 than 3 free throws. Did not get the call. And I don't understand why. I thought the refs were looking right at it, and I don't really know what to say. I mean, there was a possession, a couple plays before. Orlando challenges a play, and Anthony Black smacked, who was that, Ricky? Mm-hmm. Smacks Ricky right across, like, not the wrist, like the forearm. And they have the gall. They said
that was Yabusele.
Oh, it was Yabusele.
That was Yabusele. Right.
They have the gall, the refs, after looking at that in the replay,
and I still don't know what they were talking about with the explanation.
That was legal contact. And I got to say, regardless of whether some of these calls go the Sixers' way or not, and a lot of them have not gone the Sixers' way so far this season, I think we can be fair in saying that, they're making me question if I know the rules of basketball after it's over.
And with that explanation of he did not foul him, then there was another, was it Carter, who they said did something? He fouled?
Yeah, they said, so it didn't.
Carter did something.
They kept the challenge because they said that they were right about reversing the call.
Right.
It didn't actually hurt the Sixers in that case because Yabu got to shoot his 2 free throws. But yeah, they left us questioning, like, wait a minute, if you hit somebody without hitting the ball on the middle of the arm as they're releasing it,
yes,
that's a foul.
Never
right?
touched the ball, just got the wrist. I mean, the forearm. And it was clear as day, at least to us. So I don't know what Secaucus saw and then the officials with the headset saw at the scorer's table. I have no clue. But that was definitely a foul. In my opinion, we all felt the same way as we watched it. It was puzzling. It was really puzzling overall. And again, not trying to blame refs for everything because, look, it was a close game. The Maxey thing, I don't know what – see, look, this is what happens. I don't know if Anthony Black – was told that, hey, we have a foul to give and you can take a foul or get them before get the shot off so you don't allow them to attempt a 3, and now you're playing the free throw game overall. If he had a brain cramp and just fouled him while he was in the act of shooting. Those things happen. We see it all the time. It could have happened. And guess what? It did happen. He smacked him on the wrist, and he looked like he did it intentionally.
He's trying to do it.
Yes,
that's the thing.
That's the thing.
We can talk about, oh, here we go.
Okay.
So this is from Kyle Pagan. I want to make sure we give our credits.
Good job, JP. Yeah, so obviously we can't really see what gets hit there because the ball is in the way from that angle. You can see a little better here. He gets hit. Like, to me, if a Sixer did that, I'm thinking, like, why are you doing that? Reaching in.
Yes.
He clearly hits him, and I think Tyrese does a good job. He's already going up with the shot. Yeah, that should have been 3 free throws. I guess I'm so exasperated by the refs because I think they've struggled so much.
Thanks, JP.
And it feels like the Sixers have struggled. Yeah, appreciate that, JP. That I just don't know what to say about it anymore. And I think Tyrese should have been shooting.
Yeah, and he did a good job of not putting the ball back on the floor. It was a motion shot. And I even see it here. Aaron says that is on the gather, too. It's not. So it was on the gather. He kept the ball away from Black, but it wasn't necessarily keeping it away from Black, even though he did rip it through. But Black just missed the ball and got his wrist, unfortunately, his forearm, unfortunately, and it wasn't called. So, but look, that's a play that came down to the very end. You wished it was different because of those offensive rebounds that you talk about, the second chance opportunities there, the fast break points that eventually closed the gap the Sixers did. It wasn't as bad as it appeared early on, but things like that at the end, you're relying on the officials to help save you in a spot like that, unfortunately, and the Sixers fall by 4 points tonight. Close game tonight, very competitive, highly competitive, and just some frustrating parts about it. This has been a theme for them all year. Close, but no cigar, man.
Yeah, it's
no cigar.
It's funny.
How many games can we go back to? I can do that while you talk and just be like, remember this one? Remember that one? The Orlando game? We can talk about that one.
Yeah.
The game that they lost. Let me look at them all here while you discuss it.
So as you're saying that, it's frustrating because in recent weeks they have stopped getting blown out as much as they were earlier in the year. Rockets game for sure, and it's funny. As Kyle said last night, they just need bottom line wins. And you would almost rather them get blown out and just have that one great night where they all shoot it like crazy and they get the win, because instead of being 0-4 in these close games, I'm just making up that number right now. They're 1-3 or 2-2. They're close every night, but they fall just short. I certainly, the effort's there. I get it. They're undersized, but they're battling. Like, even when Yabu gives up those rebounds, he's battling, he's boxing out, he's just getting beat to the ball, and that happens on a couple of those. And some of those you have to give the Magic a lot of credit.
Yep, absolutely. Let me just run through these games real fast.
Kyle also said that he likes the way that the Magic play. I do. I like the way they play.
Oh, I do too.
Obviously not a super skilled offensive team, especially with Paolo out.
Exactly.
He plays a big part in that.
But when you have Franz, Paolo, and Jalen Suggs playing the way that they play together as a trio,
young guys that guard, they deserve some credit. And by the way, they've, Paolo's been out for a long time now, and they just keep rolling.
Yep.
So
thought they would take a dip. They didn't. I think they had a little bit of a slip up early on when he first went out, but since then they've been on a really good run.
And by the way, we're talking about the last 2 close games, the Rockets game and this one. Those are 2 of the better teams in the league so far. So it's not like the Sixers are just falling short against the Terror. I mean, they almost lost last night against the Hornets, but they're shorthanded, and the odds are against them in these games, and they're making it close. So they do deserve some level of credit for that, for sure.
Yeah, so we'll talk about this one, the Rockets game. You can also go to the Grizzlies game where they lost by 6, 117, 111 there. That was also a close game. The Magic game, that was an NBA Cup game when we were on the road, and that one was there for the taking as well. The Cleveland game, kind of until Donovan Mitchell got going in the fourth quarter, because that was home and that was really close.
They played well in that one too.
They did play well in that one. And you can also point out the fact that the Lakers and the Suns early on that road trip, Rich, even if you just took 5 of those, and we're looking at a 10-10 record right now, it's an entirely different story for this basketball team.
It is.
Entirely different story.
But look, man, that's the way that this season has gone. They're just not getting any breaks, or they're not getting any
They're
breaks.
getting breaks. Well, not breaks. They're getting ligament.
They're getting like ligaments broken.
Yeah, all that stuff.
All right,
when we come back, we're going to talk about the player of the game in this one, tell you who that one is. Probably not much of a surprise. We'll tell you about the player of the game, some other standouts in this one that we saw on the positive side in this close loss to the Orlando Magic by 4, 106-102. Effort, Kyle, and Derek from the arena. We'll do so right here on the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. Every time we get ready to talk about Joel Embiid, Winona says, why don't you send Joel to Rothman? Well, if I could, I would. Well, maybe I need to extend that to have the shoulder checked out for the free agent acquisition of Caleb Martin, because we don't want anything to be wrong with him. We want to have him corrected, just like they corrected me with my ACL and my Achilles, and they can do the same for you. They have specialists at Rothman that specialize in a multitude of orthopedic services, including hip, knee, spine, shoulder, and elbow, foot and ankle, hand and wrist, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation, orthopedic oncology, and trauma and fracture care. You hear that, Caleb? I got you covered on the shoulder and the elbow as well. Rothman proudly serves dozens of communities across Pennsylvania and New Jersey with 30-plus convenient offices, urgent cares, and walk-in centers. And, of course, I kid, they have a great medical team there with the 76ers. But if he did want another opinion, he can come to me and I can make sure he's good to go, because year over year, Rothman consistently performs among the highest volume of hip, knee, ankle replacements, and shoulder in the country, with over 60,000 per year. For more than 50 years, Rothman has participated in thousands of groundbreaking research and clinical trials with the goal of advancing knowledge, developing treatments, and improving outcomes for the benefit of the patients like me. I am one. I'm a walking Rothman. Yes, advertisement. Yes, I am, because I'm all fixed up. I'm all good to go. And that's courtesy of Rothman Orthopedics, specializing in orthopedics and you. Visit rothmanortho.com/PHLY to learn more and make an appointment today. Caleb, I got you if you need me.
Devon, let's talk about Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Devon, there is an open account offer right now. New customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Use the code PHLY365 to sign up. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. And it just doesn't have to be gambling givens on a basketball game. Flyers are playing tomorrow, right, JP? You can bet on that.
That's right.
We got the Eagles this weekend. 100% parlay
Thursday
boost
night game
that they give for offers. Thursday night game, a great game.
And it's a good game.
Yeah,
Green Bay and Detroit.
Go Green Bay, because
yes.
Because it would be nice if Detroit. Anyway, you can bet on all of that at Bet365, and they also have that early payout offer that my friend Jamie always talks about, where if the team gets up by a certain amount of points, you know what? They give you the win for that instead of worrying about the comeback, instead of worrying about some of these basketball games where, teams get up 25 points in the NBA now, but they're only a few threes away from that becoming a close game again. Bet365 does have that early payout offer. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary at Bet365.
Bet365, once again, the presenting sponsor of this show. So welcome back to the PHLY Sixers Postgame Show presented by Bet365. JP, let's get ready for the player of the game here and let everybody know we've talked about him glowingly already, but we might as well show you what his numbers look like, and put those three fingers up for one of those made three-pointers, 3 of 6 from beyond for 24 points, which was the team best, shooting 58% from 59% from the field, and 3 assists as well. Jared McCain, yet another player of the game award winner, sponsored by no one here on the show, but he got the player of the game again. Jared McCain did, and well-deserved once again. Good to see him bounce back. It really is. And once Maxey does get things going again, we've already talked about how well those two will continue to play off of one another, and I have no doubt that they'll do that again.
Could be dangerous. And I think, again, if Tyrese starts making his shots,
which he will,
if he starts figuring out some easier ways to score in the mid-range and stops doing some of these drives to the basket where he can't get all the way there and shooting around 50%. When he figures out, if he figures out how to work around some of those things, then you have a pretty dynamic duo in these shorthanded games. Like, I think Nick Nurse was pretty bad last night. I think he was a lot better tonight. Seems like shorthanded, he is doing some good stuff. What did you think about your boy Rick? Because your boy Rick got to guard Franz down the stretch. They closed with him.
Go get him, Rick. That's what you say. Hey, this guy's scoring. You got to slow this guy. You know what Nick Nurse said? He yelled down to the other end of the bench and said, "Go get him, Rick." And he did just that, because you're right, man. Franz really had it going on, but Ricky was able to get physical with him, move his feet, use his hands from time to time, where he wasn't, he was taken away from his driving lanes overall. He was putting a hand in his face. Not that Martin or Oubre weren't doing so, but he just got physical and he wasn't afraid. So it's good to see Ricky Council continue to have some good minutes. After we talked about him early, since we were talking about Maxey and critiquing Maxey of how bad he has been, or was tonight in a couple of games that we've discussed, we were on Ricky pretty rough early on in the season for not taking advantage of the opportunity like we thought he should have, and that's why he wasn't on the floor. Partly because he didn't take advantage of the situation that was there for him, much like he did a season ago, and he has bounced back. And he's been really good, Ricky Council has. Even when he made his three tonight, I'm like, yeah, Rick, the one was a hot potato where Maxey threw it to him, and it's like, I don't want you to throw it to Ricky right there. But he was 1 for 2 tonight. He was 2 for 6 from the floor, and he had a couple of Ricky take it easy kind of shots. But overall, man, he still ended up.
He's balancing the energy.
Yeah, he still ended up with 9 points, got to the free throw line 6 times, as we talked about, made 4 of those, got 3 boards as well. Got the 1 assist. Just the energy in the 18 minutes that he had out there on the floor. I thought he did pretty well.
I thought he did too, and you're right.
There's always Ricky
pointed out that he YOLO'd a few times. He got away with it a couple times because he got foul calls for those. But I think his energy. I thought he did the best job on Franz by a mile tonight. He did a better job than Oubre did. And down the stretch, he was making Franz, again, they were bringing help and they were forcing some kick out passes. But look, Franz was scoring at will against him all night. So I feel, again, Rick, he does need to iron out a few things and make a few better decisions, I would say. But I'm happy with Rick. And I think he's emblematic of the team. Like, I think the team gave a pretty good effort tonight. And I'm happy he's in the rotation. Like, for a long time, right, he would play for a couple minutes every few games. He wouldn't play that great. Nurse would take him out, and you'd wonder, like, okay, maybe I agree he's not playing all that well, but maybe you give him a little bit more of a run. Yeah. Maybe if you let him go. Yeah. It seems like he is starting to settle in and do some positive things.
Yeah, and your thoughts as I throw it the other way and now ask you about Adem Bona tonight. He did play 14 minutes and 18 seconds, did not score, did have 3 rebounds, 2 personal fouls. Effort was there, but this was probably the one game where you looked at it and said, okay, he's a little behind against this team in particular.
It's a tough backup unit to go against. Like, Mo Wagner is a pretty good backup center.
And they were jawing at each other too, both of them.
Good backup center, can score, again, against a lot of players besides a rookie. There was that one possession that I thought was the most Adem Bona possession where I believe they had doubled Franz in the corner. He had the double, but he just jumped. After he was in position to make the double, he had the double.
Trap him.
He jumped past the trap, and then Franz tripped over his leg because there was a split lane in there. And I was like, I like this kid. Unfortunately,
that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
That's part of the reason you love him, because he's active around the rim and he makes physical plays around the rim. But sometimes he gets a little too hyper or whatever. Yeah, that's a tough unit, man. I mean, again, dealing with Wagner, who's very skilled and strong and a decent offensive player, and Isaac, who was, I know he got hurt tonight, man. He was terrific. I mean, he was great on offense, but obviously, like, that guy is, I think he's one of the best 5 or 6 defenders in the league. Now, he doesn't play a lot, in part because I think, as we saw, he gets hurt, and they probably have him in the right range. I think I saw he only plays like 18, 20 minutes a game.
Yeah, 14 tonight.
That's probably right.
Yeah.
But when in those minutes, man, he messes some shit up.
Yes, he does. 14 points for him tonight off the bench, 6 for 8. He had 4 offensive rebounds. How many of those did he just go right back up with? 3 of the 4 and get dunks? That's how active he was,
just
man.
Picking the ball off the rim.
He was really active. We're going to check in. Kyle's going to join us here in just a second. Both he and Derek, they're checking in just a second. As they do that, I'll read Marty Bones here on the super chat. Marty Bones says, "What's worse, Drew being the piece that gives the Celtics a championship, or a decade of Sixers beginning and ending with knee injuries?" Thank you, Marty Bones. Really appreciate it.
Why can't it be both?
Why can't it be? He has his two. He's helped those two franchises, both Milwaukee and Boston, win championships, and he's again on that team right now. But we'll see. Why can't it be both? The Sixers, they're going to fix it. They're going to get it together. They're going to fix it. They're going to correct the issues and get back on track, and maybe we're talking about Tyrese Maxey elevating his team to a championship. And just like Drew Holiday helped both Milwaukee and Boston. Let's head to the center right now. Check in with the man, Kyle Neubeck. You can read his piece again at allphly.com. The good, the bad, the ugly. The recap of tonight's game. Kyle, a close one here tonight. A chance there. At first, in the first quarter, looked like Orlando was really going to run away with this one. But the Sixers, which they have been doing as of late, fighting back. And they got back into the game, really made it, took a lead eventually. But in the fourth quarter, just some things continuing to get away with the offensive rebounds and some bad decision-making, lack of shooting from Tyrese Maxey, which we talked about a little bit earlier, that led to this loss here to the Magic.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to note that Derek is sitting up here. He's acting very pensive on the side and saying, yeah, maybe I'll check in and say something if I feel obligated to at some point. So hello to Derek as well. Yeah, I think that the two things that jump out at me from this game, one, Orlando just being bigger and more athletic, basically all over the floor all night. And they did okay at stopping that from being too much of an advantage in the middle quarters. But first quarter killed them. Fourth quarter killed them. Like the offensive glass battles. And then, when they're playing zone for decent stretches of the game, that is the one thing you're susceptible to, right? It is offensive rebounding a lot of the time. So not a huge shock that it ended up punishing them, but that was a big part of the game. And then the other thing, Tyrese Maxey, just not good enough, right? And certainly the 0 for 7, I would say more. I know it's a contentious thing in the chat and on the show tonight. I wouldn't 0 for 7. I'd take away one of those because of he's trying to draw a foul at the end. And I think Anthony Black slapped down and probably could have been called for a foul there. But I think the disappointing thing for me with Maxey, just in the macro, is that I can think of very few games, even the good games, that have been wire to wire. Oh, that's a good Maxey game, right? Even when he's had good performances, like the Indiana game, great example. He stunk it up that first half in that game. Now has an amazing quarter and a half in overtime, but the consistency just has not been there in almost any game this season. And he just goes through these long stretches where, yes, he's getting blitzed and yes, he's getting double teamed tonight, but he's giving the ball away with dumb turnovers. And I think the most dispiriting thing for me in year 5 is not that he shot 0 for 7 from 3. It's not that he's struggling to score in the paint when teams are loading up on him at the rim. It's that he doesn't seem to have a counter to any of this. And for a guy who had a pretty extensive runner floater package when he came into the league, it doesn't look like the process is there to get into mid-range stuff, right? Like to beat a closeout and it's just like 1-2 dribble, free throw line, pull up, bang. Like he has the touch and he has the skill to make that a big part of his game. And I'm not saying I want him to play like DeMar DeRozan, right? But so many times he's beaten a defender. He gets to within 8 to 10 feet. He gets a little skittish about what's at the rim. And then he just does a 180 and turns around and brings the ball back out to the perimeter. And they've wasted 10 to 12 seconds of the shot clock. So that is where I think you can see the limitations in his game and his process, where whether it's the handle, whether it's that, the mid-range mechanics, right, of just getting into the rhythm of 1-2, rise up, shoot, whatever it is, I haven't seen any progress there. And I think that's a big reason that he's struggling as much as he is right now.
Kyle, on a positive note, because I'm going to lay off the Maxey talk because that's enough for me tonight, is Jared McCain, right? Jared McCain, another good game against Orlando. It's his second. What did you see from him tonight? I mean, honestly, Kyle, to me, the point I was trying to make is that a lot of things you're talking about, a plan in the mid-range, the feel for when to go all the way to the rim, when to shoot threes, it feels like McCain is doing a lot of those things well. And it's unfortunate because I feel like that is kind of highlighting where Maxey is struggling there.
I agree. I think the contrast is not doing him a lot of favors. Yeah, I think the word that I think I keep falling back on with McCain is composure, right? Or patience would be another one where you see a lot more of those, the Nash type plays where he dribbles and he probes and he gets under the rim. And he had a nice one tonight where he gets all the way under the rim and Kelly Oubre is wide open for a trail three that he hits, and finding some of those and showing a bit of composure against some traps along the sideline and just making some quick connected passes. And then, as a shooter, everybody can see the instinct and the work that he has put in there, right? Like the play at the end of the one quarter where he comes in for the final minute and baseline out of bounds play, catches the ball in the corner, quick up fake, one dribble, sidestep, hits the three. And that's something that we've seen several times, if not 10 times already this season. Like that type of shot from that spot on the floor with, little time on the clock, little space to get the shot off. And so those little things in like every area of the game, I think you can just see the attention to detail. Now on the other side of the ball, I do still think that McCain is a mess, to put it charitably. Like a lot of miscommunications, missed rotations. He's having trouble with, he's having to guard bigger guys because they're playing Maxey and McCain minutes together, or McCain and Reggie Jackson, and these combinations where someone's got to guard bigger players. And I want to see a lot more from him over time. But yeah, I mean, the offense is incredible. And I think the fact that he was able to, there was a question posed to him post game where somebody said something like, you don't even want to call it a slump that he went through, because he had like 3 or 4 games in his rookie year where he didn't shoot the ball well. And then he's right back to it. Like it's nice to see a young kid with such a level head on his shoulders, where it's not just within a game, it's within the longer season that he's able to shrug off some of the struggles and just get right back to it. So a lot of admiration for how he's carried himself so far.
A lot of admiration last night for Devon. Tonight, 13 plus minutes. What did you make of his time out there on the floor, Kyle?
Well, one thing of note that Derek and I caught in the locker room, he had heavy bandaging and ice around his knee, and he was not moving all that well. I do think that's part of why he only played the 13 or so minutes, because I thought, when they played some zone and when they played Bona and Yabusele together in the second quarter, that was one of the times they were able to go on a run, right? They were able to get back into that game after being down double digits. And it makes sense, right? Orlando is very big. They're athletic. And while Bona was not putting up numbers in terms of the rebounds and blocks or anything else, he's putting pressure on the rim on offense. And on the other end of the floor, he's at least like a credible guy down low, where if you try to challenge him, there were plays where Orlando got at least relatively close. And between him and Yabusele, they have enough size down there to force the kick out. And then Orlando has to rely on their shooting, which, as all of us know, is streaky and unreliable at times. So I think he has looked about as good as you could probably expect for the 41st pick in the draft, playing limited minutes. I really like his energy that you see every time he comes in the game, but still a lot to work on in terms of the offensive feel and some of the other stuff.
All right, Kyle, whether it's you or Derek, I mean, there was a lot of other stuff in that game. I mean, Nick Nurse, he played zone, he played box and one. The rebounding, like you mentioned, Kyle, they just got kind of overwhelmed. But it is weird that the rebounding, they rebound well offensively when they're small, but they just got completely overwhelmed. Ricky Council playing at the end of that game, that was something that was interesting. Yabu, I'll let you take it. Wherever you want to go, whatever else kind of stood out to you, you have a point. Why don't you make it?
Can this team make some goddamn free throws? I would say that, right?
Yeah,
like I think we got used to, or certainly I got used to, the fact that this team's been built around not just a high volume, but a high efficiency free throw shooter, right? And at a spot where you normally don't get high efficiency free throws, right? Like Joel Embiid being automatic or close to automatic at the line is something you take for granted as you're watching it, in part because some people just don't like watching it, frankly. But tonight, I mean, Jared McCain gets 2 or 3 at the line, or misses 2 or 3 at the line. You had I think Caleb Martin missed a pair. I think Ricky might have split one. Like it just, those add up over the course of a game. And as much as it has felt like their shooting has come forward recently across the board, they were 11 for 30 from 3 at the end of that game, something like that. It was an ugly night shooting the basketball. So yeah, the free throws were a big deal. And then you brought up Yabusele, so I'll give him some love. He just finds a way to do something every single night, right? And I think when they're finally, assuming it happens, finally able to get Yabu consistent minutes at the 4, I think that they are going to consistently win those minutes, because I think he is a guy that at this point, he has enough of the shooting success so far that I believe that's going to keep going, right? When you get that early momentum, when that's the big question mark, he's got the confidence now. He's not thinking so much about it. He's just letting them fly. That bleeds into everything, right? He's making passes confidently. He's rolling hard off of screens. And I love what he brings to the table. I just think he's being asked to play a position most of the time that he's not equipped to play. And that's okay, right? It's not okay in terms of trying to win a game, but it's okay in terms of you can see the vision for what this guy will be on a full strength team, but that assumes they'll ever have one.
Well, Kyle, we'll let you go on that one, man. Want to let everybody know that we are off on Thursday. We'll be back on Friday for the second of the 2-game home series. Derek is also off tomorrow as well, as we'll all be back for that particular game. We're not going anywhere. We just want to make sure that we said goodbye to the fellas. Make sure you go read allphly.com for the post-game work from Kyle, some more written content from Derek about this basketball team. Kyle, they have until midnight to get in there and get that deal.
Hurry it up, slackers.
36.
If you're not a diehard yet, you
That's
have
right.
about 31 minutes, almost exactly, to sign up at that $36 price. And I promise we are working our hardest to make it worth it. The whole team, not just the Sixers team, Eagles, Flyers, Phillies. We're all in.
Well, all
right?
in. All in. Well, we appreciate it, man. Go enjoy your night.
you, fellas.
Be safe. Derek,
And see
as
you, Derek.
Enjoy your day off, and we'll talk to you on Friday, both pre and post game.
Get home safe, boys.
Same
See
Orlando
ya.
team. Thanks, man. See you. Kyle Neubeck, Derek Botner joining us live from the arena. And just quickly, just thinking about all of that, and I know you want to get to something, is we've talked about them competing in these games and giving effort. And Yabusele, Bona, McCain.
Yeah.
Maxey
Maxey defensively?
Maxey. We've talked about Maxey's defense the last 2 nights, that he's been really good. And this is a question that we don't have an answer to, but it's more of at some point it's going to click, right? Because they give the effort, the talent is there, and while they have some drawbacks with the games missed with their 2 other All-Stars, Martin now injured with the shoulder but still fighting through it, at some point it has to click for them, right? It may not be top 4, top 5 seed anymore for this particular season, but man, it has to click at some point.
You need your stars healthy and playing like stars.
Because the effort, we've questioned it. It has been there now, as of late.
If they got this effort from all of these role players, and
in those close games that we discussed,
and even Tyrese tonight,
Yep.
if you have Joel Embiid and Paul George on the floor, they win. And playing relatively like themselves, they win the night.
they do.
And that is, as frustrated as I am with Tyrese Maxey, Joel and PG not being available. Now PG is available, but he's can't play back-to-backs right now.
Day to day.
But that's been the story of the year. They have not gotten enough from their stars. And yes, Joel is the leader of that group.
I do want to get on the Maxey thing again.
Yeah, they're getting good stuff from everybody else.
Right. I do want to get on the Maxey thing again from me. I'm not speaking for you. I'm not speaking for Kyle or JP or Derek or anybody or Bree. It's because of just this point that when we talk about him and we critique him, because as we said, we love the guy just like everyone else does. We critique him because we know how good he is. And while we may not necessarily think he can carry a team to a top 6, top 5 record in the Eastern Conference, he is damn good. The one thing that we constantly talked about, though, is that mid-range game, staying as part of the overall package, the 3-level scorer that he is from behind the three-point line, at the rim, and in his mid-range game. That's what makes him special. It's because his speed to do everything that allows him to dictate everything that happens with his basketball game. Also, you include that in transition. When you mentioned that he got the switch and had Batadze on him and decided to put the ball on the floor and attack him at the rim, blow right by him, get to the rim, finish for a layup, that's what makes him special. That's what makes him the all-star that he is. And when he incorporates that mid-range game that he has, that's already there, and deciding, hey, all right, it's not there again. Not getting the calls that he feels like he should. Adjust. That counter is that step back jump shot mid-range. Not from behind the three-point line. It's the mid-range jumper where it doesn't always have to be the three. We have seen him have people sliding into the first row of the seats because of his step back into a 17, 18 mid-range jump shot that he knocks down at a very good clip. And then when he gets in there again and he unleashes that runner, that floater, that is a big part of today's game. That stuff doesn't matter with the analytics when you are an all-star like he is that can score, again, at all 3 levels. That's what I mean about wanting to see that. There were many opportunities where, and as a small guy, you feel like you have that speed, you got there, you got hit, and he probably did. You're year 5. You adjust and make them call it by doing that. So when you do start to knock down that mid-range jumper again, you know what's going to happen? You knock down that mid-range jumper, they're going to close out on you again. You keep that dribble, that hesitation, and now you go right by him again, and you're at the cup, and you lay it up. And that's where we've seen it, and it just needs to come back to being a part of his game, not just with Joel Embiid out there on the floor, not just with Paul George also out there, but with him being the head of the offense, the head of the snake that leads this team to what we hope that they get back to, which is picking up these victories and getting right back into the conversation of a playoff basketball team.
It's been a frustrating start, man. And it's like, look, I enjoyed watching tonight's game, right? Remember that Clippers game a few weeks ago that you and I watched and we had to do the post-game show? This was 10,000 times better than that, right? There was effort, and it was against a similar team too. So if they can ever get these guys back on the court, and if Joel can play on Friday, that would be awesome. I don't know how his knee is reacting, as Kyle has laid out. Yes, there are things that they can build on from this game, for sure.
100%. M2G says in the chat, to say Maxey can't carry a team to a top 6 because 2 max contracts aren't playing says more about your credibility, Devon, than Maxey. MTG, it does not, because there was 30 games for Tyrese Maxey to carry that team a season ago, where they were pretty healthy outside of Joel Embiid with the team. While there are no stars around him, he was damn good. He was worthy of that all-star selection. We thought he all should have been there. We did not blame him for the losses that they had there with Embiid's absence. It's just simply what it is right now. It's okay for a fifth-year player to not carry a team to a top 6 seed in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. That's not who he is yet. He can be a number 2. He may be a number 1 that wins you a decent amount of games. I said top 6. I didn't say playoffs. I said top 6.
And that's a really good team around him.
I think so.
We have enough evidence, and that's okay, because
it's all right
for the Sixers team. If Joel is healthy, and he may never be healthy, but the way this team was built is for Joel to be the number 1, and then PG and Maxey to be the next 2 guys in some order.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't had Joel. That's why they're losing.
So M2G, that's my opinion. You have yours. We can disagree. That's my opinion. Until I see otherwise, I think he's an all-star level player in this league. And I think he is very, very good. I think he was worthy of All-NBA as well a season ago. And I thought he would be right back there this season. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked out that way. So we can agree to disagree. That's okay. That's my opinion. And you have yours, and we can always discuss it like we are right now. It's all right. It's not a problem. And I think he would have been in the mix again this year. I think the tough part for him to make the All-Star team again this year is going to be the record. It's going to be the record again. The record this time around, because it's going to get in the way of how the coaches look at it and say, well, that guy on the losing team, is not going to get an
That's
All-Star spot.
typically
That's how it works.
That's just how it works.
That's
And
just how it works.
That's
yeah.
not really that
Yeah.
has nothing to do with our opinions. It's
No.
it's just how coaches usually reward winning.
Yeah.
Sometimes they value it too much because a guy doesn't have, the teammates to actually generate those wins. And sometimes they do value it correctly because it's about winning, right?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to these super chats so we can say goodnight to everybody.
Let's do it.
And say, wow, we got a
Got a
ton of
bunch.
them. Skunk Riley. Let's start off with Skunk Riley
Skunk
there.
loves these super chats.
Yeah, he does. We appreciate it, too.
We appreciate you, Skunk.
I'm going to stuff my face with milk and Fig Newtons. Wow, I don't like Fig Newtons. Never did. Listen to Olivia Rodrigo records and cry myself to sleep, Skunk
Very
Riley.
specific, Skunk.
Got a
Very
plan.
specific. Yeah.
Got a plan, man. Got a plan.
I support emotional eating. Just usually don't do it with Fig Newtons. But you do you, Skunk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chocolate chip cookies? Come on.
Chocolate chip cookies. Yes, chocolate chip cookies over Fig Newtons. But you do you. Have at it with the with the Fig Newtons. Skunk Riley continues with, I don't want to see Oubre blowing kisses ever again. He's been making his shots. These last 2 games, he's been shooting pretty decent percentages, including from behind the 3-point line.
He has shot it a lot better these last few games. There have been a couple yes shots that he took. He took one the night where they just pitched it back to him and he stepped into a 3, but he's been playing better.
He has. He definitely has. Appreciate it, Skunk Riley, for those super chats. We move on to our good friend, Michael B.
Here we go.
Super chat.
Hi, guys.
Big one, too.
Hi, guys. Really enjoying the show. Rich, please watch the film and see if you can identify a double team. Turn the team over to McCain in your wisdom. Not what I said. Best thing you can do, put down the shovel and take a deep breath. I'm not putting the shovel on Tyrese Maxey. I am a little disappointed in how he has played at the beginning of this season with an admittedly stacked deck against him. I just thought he would be a little bit better, particularly as a scorer, because that is what he gets paid to do, score the ball efficiently. Yes, do I think he'll be a lot better with Joel Embiid running that 2-man game when he was an All-Star last year and they were killing teams? Yes, I do. But it's been a frustrating year, and I think it's fair. Like let's go back to the big meeting in Miami where he called out Joel Embiid for being late. Absolutely the right thing to do. Right, Joel can't do that. Great to
see that leadership from him.
But we got to keep it 100, and I just have been disappointed. That doesn't mean I'm giving up on him. It doesn't mean I don't love him. He is one of the most positive, wonderful people I have ever been around. It just means that I wish he was playing a little bit better. And as we talked about all night, scoring better in the mid-range, scoring better around the rim. He just has not been as efficient as I was hoping for, and that's all. That's all. No shovel here, Michael.
All right, Mike also has another super chat where he does ask, "Hi guys, really enjoying the show. Can you make sure to save some 5 minutes for 2 questions? How much salary?" Well, this one is more of a Derek question with the salary, probably, or you got it.
Paul George is 50. Joel's 50, I think.
Yeah,
about 100, I think.
Yeah. The bench. How much of that was on the bench rooting for teammates and thank you? How much of the salary? Yeah.
So Joel, it's 50 and 50. Joel 51, PG 49. So 100 exactly. Was there other salary? I guess we can add Kyle Lowry on there too.
Yeah, at a minimum.
Yeah, $2 million. That's been the reason they're losing these games. Joel has not been healthy. Yeah, no argument there. And how much of it was on the bench rooting for his teammates?
100 million.
Here's the thing, though. I just don't know the story behind it. Do I think Joel should be on the bench if he's healthy, rooting for his teammates? 100%. And if he's not, then Tyrese Maxey should be giving him grief in another team.
And George was there, right?
In another team meeting. I just don't know what's going on.
George was on the bench, right?
Yeah, he was. He was. Behind the scenes. So those are my answers to those questions.
Yep. All right. We appreciate it, Mike, as always, checking in with the big super chats. And we go to Devon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beats. We lost that game at the foul line. We mentioned it, 11 for 19.
Hard to argue.
And we talked about that earlier. That was one of the things that we pointed out really early. And unfortunately, in a close game, those bite you. Those really do. And, would have been nice to get 3 more from Tyrese Maxey on that Anthony Black foul. But they did not.
Oh, well.
The official did not call it. We move on to Schoolboy Beats, also saying Eminem, which is Maxey and McCain, aren't point guards, in my opinion. They need a Draymond type, to be honest. Well, I mean, if you have Paul George and Joel Embiid out there, it makes your job so much easier as 2 guards that are combo guards, but can run an offense.
Completely agree. And I mean, obviously Draymond is the quintessential point forward, right? Because now I got to say, I think Draymond, this is a little bit off topic. I think Draymond is a wildly overrated offensive player, probably still an underrated defensive player, just because I think for the playoffs, when you need to switch and you need versatility and all those things, he provides it in a way, like the ability to play the center in that death lineup. That was everything. And it's because his arms are so long and he can move his feet and his instincts are better than anybody. Here's the thing, Devon. I actually think if you just have Joel Embiid at the top of the key and you just throw delay to him, you have Maxey or McCain bring the ball up. You're fine. You probably have on one side of the floor, you have PG and one of those two running like a split action or back screen, dribble handoff, whatever. You're going to get good stuff offensively.
Yeah, and Draymond's offense left him probably after that second championship. The third one, he just wanted to pass it to Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson, and he was cool with that. And just go ahead and defend like a maniac like he always does. As you pointed out, underrated defensively, which is why he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Appreciate that one.
Great passer, but he played with the greatest shooter of all time and the greatest movement shooter of all time. So it's
not his fault.
It's not his fault.
He
maximized
that.
He played the role great, but again, having Steph run off 6 dribble handoffs, if you just keep passing him the ball.
But look, I mean, it's a credit to the Warriors, but it's also a credit to him that so many other teams try to duplicate that type of player. He's unique. You're not going to find a lot of ways that, to impact the game the same way that Draymond Green has done.
An awesome player.
Yeah, he really is. Also, one more from Devon says, Maxey fast release has hurt his accuracy this year.
He was getting those shots off faster earlier in the year.
And he was making them.
I lose track of that. I think that could be a story. That could be something Kyle or I do, where you just watch all of his 3-point attempts and see if anything is different. Other people have theorized that maybe he put on the weight and that's not helping, or not the weight, the muscle that he has put on is kind of screwed up with his release. I don't know. I can't really tell watching
it all looks good, because when he was making those shots early with that quicker release, we were saying, man, this is a game changer that he's making them with the quicker release. So right now he's missing them. I'd expect them to come back because he is that type of worker. He's going to study and make sure he gets back to the player that we were all talking about and all expecting this season. We move on to Devon, final one. Or he has more. Devon's just all over. We appreciate it, Devon. Nurse told him to stop with the floaters last year, though. I don't remember that. You remember that?
Well, the big time that somebody asked him to stop the floaters was he came into the NBA out of Kentucky. And remember, like his first preseason games, the first few weeks of his season, he was just jacking floaters. Like his whole game was built around the floaters. Yeah. And Doc Rivers told him to stop shooting those because he said, and I think I will defend Doc here in saying that in trying to build Tyrese's game, the thing Doc used to tell him is, we want your fingernails on the basket or on the
rim, on the backboard.
So yeah. And basically he meant, we want you to drive a little bit more. Now, is there a balance in between the two of them that Maxey can get to those floaters now that he's seeing more attention? Yeah. Yeah. I think there is. I don't remember Nurse last year doing it as much, but again, I wasn't around the team quite as much last year. But it was Doc who initially told him, hey, shoot more threes, get to the rim, do all of those things. And now he's probably got to adjust. I mean, that's what life as a top scorer in the NBA is, right? Teams adjust to you, you adjust back.
Yep.
They take away one thing, you go to something else. That's what it is. And maybe he does need to shoot more floaters. Maybe he does. Again, I would
like to see it.
As much as Doc said, get your fingernails on the rim or the backboard, there have been a lot of times this year where he's been out of control. And if he doesn't finish those, man, he's like falling into the first row, and then it's a 5-on-4 on the other end. And by the way, he's not the only one who does that. That happens to McCain. Sometimes certainly happens to Oubre on some of those double pumps. But it's something to probably look at moving forward for sure.
Yep, absolutely. And let's keep it going because we have quite a few more. Kyle O says, are Duke players less hateable with no Coach K?
What do you think?
I mean, I generally like players at Duke. I just didn't like Duke. But when you get into the league, some of them, I still don't like some Duke players. I mean, Jason Tatum, liked him coming out of college, and that is borne out to be true still in the NBA. He just wears Celtics green. Jared McCain, no problem there.
Sure.
Any other Duke players? I don't like RJ. I'm not a big fan of RJ Barrett. Not as a person. I just don't like his game.
I don't like his game, but I didn't find him hateable at Duke. Obviously, he was playing.
You're talking about guys like Wojciechowski and Chris Collins and stuff like that.
Those were the hateable guys.
Those were hateable guys.
The guys that were slapping the floor and were being overpraised by the media for the reason we all know they were overpraised by the media. Yes, they were hateable, but they have Greg Paulus, although he was probably a little bit better than those guys. Good quarterback, Greg Paulus.
Yeah, he
was.
Syracuse, right?
Yeah, but they don't really have those guys anymore. So I don't know. It's right. You're right. They have a lot of pros now. They have Jason Tatum.
The pros you like. The guys who were borderline.
Cooper Flagg this year.
Cooper Flagg is really good.
The guy Knuppel this year. Yeah. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Coach K?
I was never a big fan, but you give credit to greatness. And he is who he is. He's Coach K. And he did a good job with Team USA as well when he got up there with the pros. But, whatever. See you later. Happy retirement. I hate Duke.
I hate Duke, but I always liked. I didn't always like how they played, but I felt like they always spread the court pretty well, and they were sort of ahead of the curve that way. Now he did that with the USA team. Now, in fairness, I think anybody could have coached that USA basketball team, but at least he got all of those guys to buy in with LeBron and Kobe and all of those things. So I guess I'm probably a little higher on Coach K than the average person because most people just say, I hate Coach K because I hate Duke. So it's one of these weird things where I don't dislike the Duke players. I didn't really dislike the coach, especially when he was coaching Team USA. But you're right. I was always rooting against them. When they got knocked out of the tourney, it was awesome.
It was the best, man. When CJ McCollum went off on them with Lehigh, come on, man. That was fantastic. Oh, man. You got Christian Laettner names in here. Logical Raptors fanatic says RJ Barrett is killing it this year. LOL. He is. He's playing much better. Much better. And you felt bad, of course, when the family thing went down, when he lost, that was a tough situation. And as I said, as a person, I just never really liked this game. I thought Cam Reddish would be a better pro. That has not been wrong. So bad scouting job by me.
We all make mistakes.
That wasn't Philadelphia bias. That was just more of looking at the game and how it might have translated. I thought Cam Reddish would be better. And has not played out that way, unfortunately, for Cam Reddish. Still in the league, though, and good for RJ Barrett to still play much better with that Toronto Raptors team as they start the rebuild. And they're going to be around he and Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, and see where they go from there. All right, we keep it going. Is that the last one?
That is it.
Last one. Last super chat. And we got to say we got to say goodbye to everybody on this night where spirited discussion to open up the show discussing Tyrese Maxey and his play. Our show was presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 plus and physically located in Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. We thank there was a ton of people in here, and it's running really late. We'll get back to our roll call on Friday. We thank everybody for joining us. For Derek and Kyle as well from the arena, for JP, Rich, I'm Devon. Thank you so much, everybody. This is the beauty of it, though. It's the community.
We get to go back and do this on Friday, and
it's the community. We disagree. We look at basketball the same, but we can differ at times with certain things. And we all love Tyrese Maxey for the player that he is, the person that he is, representing the Philadelphia 76ers. Unfortunately, it had us all yelling at each other a little bit earlier. But we'll get back to it on Friday against the same Magic team. And Maxey, I would suspect he has a much better game against the Magic on Friday than he did tonight.
I think he will too. And if he doesn't, I probably won't get as heated this next time. Anyway, it's just basketball. I appreciate everybody 100%. for tuning in and watching us because, again, you guys have been subjected to a terrible start to this season. I know they
has us yelling at each other. Look at that.
They have been a little bit more competitive recently, but thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so we are off tomorrow. On Thursday, we're off. Rich is off. No Eagles, no anything. No Sixers for us as well. But Rich and I will be back with JP on Friday for a pregame against the same Magic team. We'll see if it looks a little bit different for the Sixers.
Might have two more guys.
Maybe you'll have two more guys on the floor. That makes things look a little bit differently out there. So, Mike, everybody, Jess, and Winona, Remo, Tom, we don't Ron. We don't want to short anybody. We appreciate everybody. We love everybody. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy your Thursday off, and we'll catch up with you on Friday for pregame right here for Sixers Magic once again on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Good night, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.